Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming and playing video games on the internet. My name is Crunky.
I'm Jerry Cake.
And I'm Deadhead Driven.
Welcome to Deadhead. As you guys hear, Deadhead is now on the podcast. He's been a longtime friend, streamer of ours over at twitch.tv/DeadheadDraven. That's Head, then Draven, Draven, so 2 Ds. He streams all kinds of fun stuff, and we've asked him to be here this week because he has been currently playing the absolute hell out of Fallout 76, and while Cherry and I don't have the game, we definitely wanted to talk to somebody who had some first-hand experience with it.
It definitely seems to be the topic of the moment. It's getting, let's say it's got a lot of hate flying around for that game at the moment.
I've heard a lot about it, yeah.
Before we dive into the game, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Deadhead? Where are you from? Not specifically, but regionally.
I'm from the north of England, so I live on like the Scottish border in England. I'm in my 30s and I'm a long-time gamer. I used to be a podcaster myself, on my own show type of thing, but now I'm a streamer mainly. I've got into streaming this year. Didn't realise how much fun it is, and now I'm super addicted to it.
Yeah, it's a good time, isn't it?
Oh, honestly, yeah, I didn't even understand what Twitch was until I got until like this year, and like now I get it.
It's funny. There's like an age. Like, did you say your age was 30-something?
Yeah, mid-30s.
Okay, so you're in mid-30s, and that's about like 30 plus, or like what is Twitch? Wait, people will watch this, but under that, everyone gets it wholeheartedly. I'm right there with you. When I first heard about it, I'm like, surely there's no market for this. Oh, there's millions of people watching it every day.
It's crazy, and to be honest, my wife come up with the best explanation, because people at work ask me, like, people pay you money for this? I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
People don't pay you money for this. But the best way my wife explained it was, it's like busking with computer games instead of instruments.
That's so
That
perfect.
is really good.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hey, I'll do this if you give me some pennies. Thank you for your biddies.
It just works.
Now, what if you busk with a guitar on stream? Is that like Streamception? I think it is.
It's just a super busking.
This is busking in the 2018, brother.
Well, I do sing a lot, actually, so that does
I
count.
know.
Yeah,
I've been there.
You've all seen it.
Well, okay, let's dive right into it. So for those of you guys who don't know, Fallout 76 is a little bit of a departure for that game series. It came out about a week and a half ago, maybe?
14th of November was the official release date.
So a couple of weeks ago. We're a little late to the party, but...
We're on week 3, I think.
Yeah, it's not getting great reviews. I think like review aggregators are giving it like 5s and 6s, and I saw a GameSpot article today where they gave it a 4, and I was like, Gemini. And it seems to be the overwhelming consensus is that it's like they're trying to pivot this game into like a service type game where it's an MMO almost, where you meet your friends online, and the root of Fallout is not that. And so it's like it's got its more than its share of bugs for a Fallout game. What have been your initial impressions after playing it for a few weeks?
After playing it for a few weeks, I mean, I played the beta. Originally, I played the beta on PlayStation 4, mainly because someone gave me a key for it, and I wasn't sure about pre-ordering it. Now, when we played it on PS4, I'll admit it technically was an absolute mess. Lucky to run at 20 frames a second.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, really bad. Whenever you were shooting things, there was a massive delay on nearly everything you shot. And from what I understand, it hasn't been a lot of difference between the beta and between it actually getting released. It was more of a stress test for the servers than anything. But I ended up getting the PC version. Because I'm a PC gamer, I've got quite a strong PC, so I decided to go for the PC version. That's my main gaming computer. And
just so we're clear, that's what all the cool people play on.
All the cool kids
Don't
are PC Master
polarize our
Race.
audience.
I'm Omni gamer. I have everything except for an Xbox because I'm not
I
a
only
fool.
make jokes about PC gaming for the fun of it, but I have PS4, Switch. I've had every console at some point.
Yeah,
so
you do.
I'm only joking.
Yeah, absolutely. But I must admit, the change between playing it on PC and playing it on console is night and day.
Oh, really? Is
Really?
it? Do you think that has to do with the release or just the build?
I think it's to do with raw power of the computer. Because I'm playing it, I'm getting solid 60 frames a second. I've not noticed any major or game-breaking bugs. I've been kicked out of the server once in a week and a half, and I got instantly back in. So from a technical standpoint, the game on my particular computer works fine.
Good. That's good to hear.
I will preface the fact that I'm running an i7 and I got 1080 Ti. So it's got no excuse to run badly.
Right.
If you know what I
Pretty
mean.
annoyed if it didn't run, wouldn't you?
Exactly. So if you're running like a mid-range PC, you got an i5 and you got a 1060, which is a respectable build. I don't know how it's going to run. I'm throwing everything at this game. It literally has no excuses. And
Jerry, he's throwing shade at your
I
computer.
know. I just thought that. It was like,
I
wait
said
a minute,
it was
I've got that.
respectable. That's an absolutely respectable build. I'm a fool. This is the thing with me. I don't drink or smoke or do drugs, so all my money goes straight into computers because I've got nothing else to spend it on. Apart from food.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, true. But like I say, so on a technical standpoint, I think Fallout 76 actually works as intended if you throw a crazy amount of hardware at it. Console-wise, what my experience of the console game was terrible. And I think that's where a lot of the negative base reviews are coming from.
Have you
Yeah.
spoken to anyone that has played it since release on console?
I haven't actually, no.
I just
From what
I've
I
been
understand,
talking to a friend of mine, Dama, who comes to the stream quite a bit. I've known him, gamer friend for years, and he's been playing on PC. He was telling me this morning, I was asking him, like, what's been your impression, just so I can have an educated, before I start talking about it today, I want to have some kind of education on it. And he said that he has a camp. If you don't know the game, you can have a portable camp where you can plop your camp down, customize it, and then pick it up and take it with you. He put his camp down, and then the host migrated, or it changed servers on him. And it tried, when he logged on to the next server, where his camp was another one. And what it's supposed to do is automatically put it back in your inventory as a camp, but it didn't. And he it's gone. All his stuff that was in his camp is gone. And he doesn't know what to do.
see, that actually happened to me, and I thought the same thing. I was streaming at the time. I got really angry about the whole situation. Turned out that it hadn't disappeared. It was actually in one of the tabs in the camp, even though it doesn't tell you very well, that there's actually a saved items and blueprints. So all the items are actually still there. So I actually rebuilt a second camp and then realised all my items were there. So I ended up placing them down and scrapping them.
I
Even
need to tell
then-
him that then.
Yeah, even then, Draven, I remember you saying, I watched some of the stream when you were trying to build your base, and you were having some real issues trying to get it to actually work.
Oh, well, that goes back to what it was like in Fallout 4, the building mechanics for the base. If the planets align, everything clicks together and it works beautifully.
Yeah.
But sometimes the snap system for Fallout 4 and 76, since they really are very similar, can be so frustrating sometimes. You just want to I want a door there. Why can't I put a door there? There's a big hole. Just put a door there. And it just
What was it you were playing earlier last week, Cherry, where you were using the snap to grid? Was it Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Oh, no, it was Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster.
that
You were
drove me
proper
nuts.
raging on stream about that.
There's no way to turn the snapping off, so you have to deal with it. I totally feel you on that, Draven, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually know you because I've actually played that game as well, and I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
Was it roads that you were doing? Because
It was the paths.
With me, I had a huge problem snapping roads together for the go-karts in Planet Coaster. Oh my god, I was raging.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to Fallout 76, there's two halves of it to me. There's the technical problems, which if you're a console user, from what I understand from reviews, it's bad. It was bad when I tested it. It hasn't changed much since the beta. That's bad. But then you've got the game side of it. I like the game, and I understand why other people don't.
Yeah. When it comes to video games, I find myself categorizing what I like about games a couple of different ways. You could really love a great story and put up with a lot of bad things if the story's amazing. A game that comes to mind immediately is Ocarina of Time. It's a classic, but if you go back and play it now, it's a little bit clunky with the camera controls, but for the story, I'll put up with it. If it has amazing gameplay, you'll put up with everything else. Dark Souls, I love the gameplay, so I put up with the clunky, uneven difficulty of it, especially the first one. Or it could have really, really amazing graphics. You'll put up with everything else. Or there's one other thing that any kind of carrot on a stick in front of you, like a collectathon, like Diablo. You're loot grinding. You'll keep playing to get that next shiny piece of loot. And I wonder, how does Fallout 76 address those to you? Because I've heard that the story is kind of empty feeling because they've got rid of character NPCs. It's all robots and text laying around.
Oh well, I'll say right now, the story is absolutely non-existent.
It's non-existent. Okay.
Non-existent. It's apparently it's there, but it's only told to you through very rare. If it was robots talking to you all the time, I could handle that. But most time, it's terminals and diary entries. So I literally
So you have to
just
read everything.
Yeah. I just ignore it and skip it.
Yeah.
Because what's the point? I'm not. I never read the diary entries on computers in Fallout 4. I'm not reading them in this.
If I wanted to read, I'd pick a book.
Exactly. It took the words right out of my mouth. Sure.
Absolutely, 100% agreed. So, to me, the story of it is, if you want to read, like, I know I've got a friend who's read every single book in Skyrim. I haven't read one. If you like that kind of thing, which I'd be surprised if there's a big audience for it, it's there, but it literally doesn't exist, the story, in any capacity.
Oh, wow. But, so what draws you to it? Is it the gameplay, the gun mechanics, the building, the collecting? What is it?
To be honest, it's all of that. The game itself, as a shell, you've got Fallout 4, you've grabbed the story elements, pull them right out of it. Literally every single story element of Fallout 4, just grab them, and just yank them out, and then replace them with the fact that you can play multiplayer. Put them in, and that's the game you've got. Now, I can understand why people hate that, and I totally see it, because, Fallout as a franchise has generally been very story-based and very player choice-driven, where they've taken all that out, but it's a gameplay that appeals to me, because I'm a big Fallout fan. Ever since Fallout 3, I've been a huge Fallout fan. But I'm also a fan of games like State of Decay, which are also very divisive. Not a lot of people like that game.
Like the survival elements to them.
Yeah. Now, I don't like full survival games. I'm not like General Chaos. I don't want to drink my own pizza, survive for 3 days on a game. That's his thing, not mine.
You know General Chaos in real life, right?
I know General Chaos in real life. That's what he's like in real life as well. He'll drink his own pee, give him the option.
Shout out to General Chaos for drinking his own pee.
Yay! But I love the reason I love State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2, and why I'm loving Fallout 76, is because the game basically says, here's Apocalypse, survive in it. But you don't have fun while you're doing it. It's not you have to eat every 3 seconds or you'll get dysentery and all that kind of stuff. It's just, build a base, make sure you eat, make sure you drink, make sure you survive, go and kill some things, make your base better, up your level, get some perks, keep going, explore the world. And I'm really enjoying that element of it.
Do you get to play like Scum and poop off the side of a bridge?
Oh, I've seen General Chaos actually playing
did
Scum.
It. Yeah.
Oh, I just think
did that.
You don't need that. I mean, yeah, it's funny, it's meme worthy, but after the 4th time, you're kind of like, I'm not 6, am I? This is as fun as it should be.
I don't know. I think I'd find it quite funny for a while. Anyway, I was going to ask, Jaden, we were just talking then about introducing robots instead of like actual NPCs, things like that.
Yeah.
How much of this have you played online with friends as opposed to playing it solo?
Now that's the interesting part. In the beta, I played with Synchris, Enrisen, Katie, and I think did we play it with Brozerker as well? So there's a few of us playing it over the beta period, and it was so much fun if you ignored Chris bitching about it. You could see
not
Chris.
A fan.
Oh no, Chris was like shooting it, bang, bang, bang. Wow, this is fun. I hate this. It was so divisive, but it was fun as a group. We were having a lot of fun. Obviously, everyone wasn't as enamored with the game as I was, so nobody else has bought it yet. Oh, that group playing. I think Katie might have, and I've not had a chance to play with it yet. Since I got it for PC, I've had it for about a week, and I have played it completely solo. I haven't teamed up with anybody. I have simply been playing it solo. As kind of like an apocalypse apocalypse loot fest type of game.
If you had to compare it to Fallout 4 when it comes to the volume of bugs you've run into, is it comparable?
It's weird that, originally when Fallout 4 came out, I got it on release day, midnight launch, got the Pip Boy edition and everything. Wow. I played through the entire game, didn't notice any bugs that weren't just like weird asset ones, people clipping through walls and stuff, and not major. Never had any major crashes and major bugs or anything like that. When I streamed it, it crashed on me constantly, and that was like 4 years later, and I literally only put like a couple of blood mods on, and that was about it. And it's just like, why is it doing that? With
can't handle it.
You can't handle it. 76, I've seen a couple of asset glitches that I wouldn't be surprised to see in any game, and I got booted out of a server once.
Because I've seen people complaining a lot about its bugs, and then you'll have some defenders say, well, Fallout has always had these kind of quirky bugs. And I wonder how much of it is just that when some of the core things that people love about Fallout is missing, maybe their tolerance for bugs has dropped. You know what I mean? It's the same bugs. It's just now they're not it's not cute anymore because it's not what I want.
Yeah, it's like I'm now looking for things to complain about rather than looking for things to defend. Where I don't agree with this whole Bethesda gets away with it because it's cute thing anymore. If they're there and they're game breaking or they break immersion, they're not funny anymore. I personally haven't had that many of those yet.
So overall, you've enjoyed your time with it.
It's weird. I've been really enjoying it up until about 2 days ago.
Do you know, I was going to say this. I saw that tweet you put out.
Yeah. Now,
Explain.
Well, basically, in Skyrim and Fallout, you guys will know that when you're looting, which is a big part of Bethesda games, you loot nearly everything you can pick up.
Yeah.
You have a carry weight on your character. Now, my carry weight currently is like 190 pounds because I've leveled him up and so on and so forth. Now, usually what you do in these games, you have a base, a home, something like that, and you go and stash all your loot and stuff that you want for later and you want for crafting in your home, and you don't think about it. Just dump all the stuff you've picked up, go back out and keep looting.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, in 76, you only have you've got a box, your stash, which you can access from several places in the world. So it's almost like the Resident Evil loot chest.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So different locations, other people's bases, it's always your loot, so you can pick stuff up everywhere. But it has a limit of £400 of gear. So my guy can hold almost £200 of gear. I can store £400 of it, and that's it.
Can you not make
Did
any
they
more?
hotfix? I'm sorry, Cherry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, can you not make any more of these chests?
You can make as many as you like, but they connect to each other.
So it's 400 total
Oh,
between
what?
however many you have.
Yep, exactly.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So that's, to me, like I say, I've been enjoying the loot fest. I'm going to go out, I'm going to find loads of screws and wood and iron, and I'm going to use that to build all this up. I go back to the base. Oh, I've filled my stash and I can't put anything else in it. So now I have to scrap good weapons or throw away food to be able to put the more scrap into my box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being cynical here, but that screams to me that they're gonna come out later with microtransactions to address some of that stuff.
That's exactly what my wife said today, Crunky.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So here's my beef with I don't like the Fallout series. I mean I don't hate it. I don't think it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real aversion to the huge sprawling open world games. Always have.
Yeah.
And I found Fallout 3 and 4 like very similar in that like they turned me away because they're so big. I don't know what the hell to do at any time. Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When Fallout 76 came out, my impression from talking to friends, reading reviews, watching your stream, is that it's a big sandbox and there's some general MMO type quests in it, but it's really setting up the vending machine for later, and that's okay if the game wasn't $60. All these AAA companies are going, you know what? There's money to be made here. We're going to bust out $60 AAA games. And then we're going to start loading them up with microtransactions and call them games of service.
It's not $60 anymore.
Yeah. How bad is that? It's been out for 3 weeks and it's dropped already?
Yeah, that's
This
pretty rough.
is exactly what happened to me was that when I played the beta, it convinced me I did not want to pre-order it at full price. And I seen it. I mean, it's in England. It's £50. It's the full retail price in England. I got it for £25, and you can get it for less than that now. Now, for the money I paid for it, I actually think it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth full price. Not yet, anyway. But, yeah, anyone who pre-ordered it, paid the full $60, £50, they are not getting their money's worth.
It reminds me of, like, a Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
because,
yes.
like, they retailed that at $60 as well. But
No Man's Sky.
What they did with Sea of Thieves is that they released a game that shouldn't have been that amount. It should have been half. But they built upon what they've released. So I'm guessing that Fallout 76 are going to do the same thing, just keep introducing stuff. But it doesn't justify being retailed at that price in the first instance.
No,
So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Cherry. I'm going to sell you a car. You're going to pay me for it up front, and then I'm going to mail you the steering wheel today.
No.
Next month,
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That they're getting away with it. I mean, it's you would think that things like what happened with Battlefield 2, Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, this kind of black eye on Bethesda right now for Fallout 76 because it really got hammered by the reviewers. You think that those things would like slow it down, but it seems to be accelerating.
The thing is, I think this is what high-speed internet has done to the games industry. It has made the games industry lazy long-term. If you know what I mean, it's one of those things. It's so many games now that good example. You said No Man's Sky. That was an absolute disaster for 2 years. Is now a good game apparently, but for 2 years it was the pits.
I liked that game.
So many people
You liked
hate
it
it.
day one?
I liked it.
Well,
I was talking to Vox, our friend Voxicar, who's Brozeka's wife.
I know.
Vox loves it as well. Like, she loved it from release.
I think that makes you guys the exception for most people.
Yeah.
No doubt, yeah.
In the same way that I'm the exception for 76.
Yeah, even if you liked it, you had to have noticed its limited content for $60, right?
No, because it was a
Wow.
massive universe that you could go and explore, which was procedurally generated, and it was just so, like, I love that kind of going to explore things and find things and, like, discover new animals or, mine things. And
You might like 76, Jerry, because that's what you do in 76.
Yeah, I've never played a Fallout
Not
game,
to
though.
put you on the spot here, but just give me a ballpark estimate how many hours you played it.
76.
no, wait.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. God, it was a while ago.
Yeah. 20?
I honestly don't know. I played it for a week straight, at least.
Okay. And you didn't start to like see repetition in it?
No. There was a lot of depth, or there was at least in that game.
Fair
I
enough.
think the thing with No Man's Sky is that a lot of people were annoyed at the fact that they'd portrayed it as being a multiplayer, and it just wasn't. It was a single player game until recently where they brought it in. So I think that was where they tripped up. But for a gameplay, like in the actual game itself, it's really, to me, it's really fun.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, that's the thing about, I think the difference between, say, 76 and No Man's Sky is that 76 has the opportunity to pull stuff back if it keeps updating it in like an MMO style, where No Man's Sky, when it came out, a lot of people weren't happy with what was there, and it was never promised that they were going to keep updating it. It was a single game, you know what I mean? Like, say if you buy the new Call of Duty and it's not good, that's what that game is.
The other problem with No Man's Sky is that Sony pushed for release for it as well, so I think they shot themselves in the foot by doing that as well. So it wasn't entirely Hello Games, is it?
Hello Games, yeah.
Yeah.
Entirely their fault, because I think Sony had a lot to do with the release day of it.
Absolutely agreed. And it's weird because Fallout seems like the same thing with 76. It seems like it's been pushed out for the Christmas release far too early. I will agree that it's been pushed out far too early, but Bethesda have only got themselves to blame for that one.
Didn't they have a massive patch of like 46 gig of it?
It was.
They did. It's weird. It kind of shows you that one of the big problems with people shouting about 76 is that it's on a really old engine. It's on the same engine Skyrim was on. And they're right, it is. The way they patch it, say they want to patch the texture file, you can't put in the one bit you need to update. You have to update the entire texture file for their engine. So, say you've got to
download the whole game.
yeah, if you've got a patch of 300 megabytes for the texture file, but the entire texture file is 40 gig, you have to redownload the entire thing. You can't just get the small part.
So why is Bethesda so set on using that old engine then?
I honestly couldn't tell you. It's cheap. They know how to use it.
I was going to say, I know why, because building a new engine would be expensive.
It would be expensive. I mean, they've said as well that they're going to use it for Starfield and for the next Elder Scrolls as well.
What?
Well, I hope you guys like this engine because we're using it forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
The next Elder Scrolls is years away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but they've said they're gonna keep using it. I mean, obviously they are updating the engine. It's not exactly the same engine that was in Skyrim, but it is the same basic engine, just kind of version 4.7 or whatever.
Well, you know what they say about video game engines? They age like fine wine.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So would you say what gamer out there, Draven, would you recommend this game for?
Honestly, the only gamers I would actually recommend this game for are people who are like me, who are crazy obsessive Fallout fans that don't mind the lack of story, which is an odd one because most Fallout fans are there for the story. I'm there for the setting personally. Don't get me wrong, I love the story, but I'm there for the setting. But if you're a massive Fallout fan and you like the setting, I would recommend it for that. Or if you like State of Decay for its kind of drop you in, minimal story, here just survive kind of vibe, that's who I would recommend it for. And even then, I would put a caveat of get it cheap, don't pay full price.
Yes, look out for that deal. So it sounds to me like of like when I think of the wheel of what draws gamers to games, it's got the collection stuff, it's got the pretty graphics and setting.
If you've got a really good computer.
Yeah.
Not if you're on console. God.
And one thing we didn't talk about is the combat fun. I know they can't pause the game with the VAT system like in the old games.
Which
How's
I think
that?
that was the best way they could have done it. It plays nearly identically to Fallout 4. Fallout 4 with the VAT system, obviously you pause the game essentially and pick which body part you want to shoot. In an MMO, for the lack of a better term, you obviously can't do that because you're going to pause the whole server. So it just auto targets for you. Now, I'm a guy who plays Overwatch. I don't know if you know Overwatch much, Crunky.
Yes, yeah, I'll play a lot of it. I don't play it right now, but I have played a lot.
Well, I play Overwatch, and my main is Soldier 76, and his ult is auto targeting.
Yeah.
So VAT to me just works like his ult.
Does it really? That's funny.
It just auto targets and gives you a percentage of what you got of what chance you have to shoot.
No wonder console players love this game. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so to me, a lot of people have not liked the VAT. I think it's the best way they actually could have implemented that. It's like the one thing I can say, oh, you did the best job there.
No, I think it would be better if the entire server paused every time somebody pushed a button.
So you literally can walk, pause, walk, pause.
Can you imagine how infuriating that would be if you were running around? Yeah. Well, Deadhead, tell us a little bit about your stream. What kind of variety stuff do you normally do?
Well, I tend to try and play the popular games that are coming out at the time. I've kind of got that fear of missing out when it comes to new release games.
And Fallout 76,
and Fallout 76, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I played a bit of Red Dead, although I've decided not to play it on the stream because it's too story thematic.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
But I also like, so it's mostly with me, it's new releases that aren't Call of Duty and FIFA, essentially. But also, I'm a big fan of the Dark Souls series, so I've streamed Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne. I've still got to do a stream of 3, which I'm looking forward to doing in the new year.
Cherry's a huge Dark Souls fan.
Oh, I love Dark Souls. Even though I suck at it, I absolutely love Dark Souls. I actually pride myself I'm the worst player who's finished all the games.
If you finish the games, you're not the worst player.
Well, no, I'm the worst player who's finished them all. Nobody has finished them all with less skill than I have.
You can't say that you suck at Dark Souls if you finished them. That's my rule right there.
Yes.
But,
ask Cherry how far she got into Dark Souls.
How far did you get into Dark Souls, Cherry?
I got to the Capra Demon, is it?
She beat Capra Demon, and after that, she's like, "That's it. This is my Mount. This is my Mount Everest. I'm walking back down."
What? That's where you should be getting hyped up. It's like, I beat Capra. He's a bastard. Let's keep going.
He was, but I don't get it. I just don't get that game.
I didn't get it for years. I mean, for me, I was told to start playing, and I started with 2, and I hated it so much.
Crunk, didn't you say 2 was the worst one?
Yes.
It's not. 3 is. But, that could start.
Whoa.
I could start a debate. Oh, yeah.
Well, Deadhead, how can people reach out to you? You're on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter, Deadhead Draven. I'm on Facebook, Deadhead Draven. I'm on Twitch, Deadhead Draven. I'm on Bebo, Deadhead Draven. That's a lie. I have no idea what that is.
Bebo?
I've heard the name, but no.
You can find my MySpace account.
Probably Deadhead Draven. But yeah, I'm like I say, the best place for me is on Twitch and on Twitter, both of them Deadhead Draven.
Well, guys, if you listen to this shit, I'll go ahead and say it.
Hang on,
sorry.
just before we head out, I was streaming today, and I was Cynic Chris was in chat. I was talking to him, and we got onto the topic of the Resident Evil 2 remake that's coming out in January. And your name pops up, Draven. And I happened to mention that the only Resident Evil I've ever played is Resident Evil 3.
Oh!
And apparently you hate that game.
Oh, it's so shit!
I got asked to ask you about it or your opinions on it because apparently you think it's really bad.
Oh, it's awful. It's the thing. If you know the history of the Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 3 was a side project that actually got renamed to a main number franchise because Sony had a contract with Capcom that they had to release 3 main title Resident Evil games. So the actual Resident Evil 3 is actually Resident Evil Code Veronica, which is a brilliant game. And Resident Evil 3, which was just supposed to be Resident Evil Nemesis, was kind of like an experimental game.
Right.
Okay.
So it was kind of thrown together and then polished off and then just thrown out on the PlayStation to fulfill like contractual obligations.
Well, Resident Evil 2 is like a Hall of Fame kind of game.
Oh,
Everyone
absolutely.
loves that game. Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 is amazing. Resident Evil 3, it kind of like tries to emulate what Resident Evil 2 did, but really badly.
Missed the mark just a little bit, huh?
Honestly, I mean, I honestly massive Resident Evil fan. I remember the first time I finished Resident Evil 3. Literally, I had my friend sitting on a computer with the walkthrough and telling me just pace by pace what to do because I was just getting so annoyed at the game. I just found it like kind of like almost like someone had made a Resident Evil game on the cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was so bad about it? Was it the gameplay? Was it the story?
The puzzles, the gameplay, the story, the fact you only have one character, the fact that the game starts before Resident Evil 2 but ends after it, even though it's shorter.
I didn't know that. Okay, that's pretty bad.
Oh,
So every way it could be wrong, it's
every
wrong.
single way it could be wrong. The fact that for some reason they put Jill Valentine in a boob tube as she goes to fight the hordes of the undead, just so they
Wait a minute. You're selling me on it. What's going on?
PlayStation 1 graphics, man, it's doing no one any favours. But
You put an eye out with those things.
exactly. But I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and just, the Resident Evil 3 and all of the movies insult me on a personal level.
Oh, the movies are
The
terrible.
movies are horrible.
Oh
Yeah, they're
my
really
god,
bad.
so bad. But
They're so bad they're funny, though.
yeah, I think the one where she kung fu fights the nemesis at the end, that's worth a couple of chucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't watch the whole movie. You just have to watch like a highlight reel or a low light reel in this case.
If you watch the last one, it's honestly it's like a shot by shot film on how not to make movies.
There's one of them that's just basically like, we just watched The Matrix yesterday, and we're going to make The Matrix in the Resident Evil universe.
Yeah.
Everything's like slow-mo flying through the air. They've all got black trench coats and glasses on.
I'm so glad I brought this up.
I could talk Resident Evil for day. I love it, but Resident Evil 2, my god, am I looking forward to that.
Do you know what? I've actually, like saying then, my only Resident Evil game is Resident Evil 3, so I've only ever played that one. But
You got nowhere to go but up.
Well, yeah. Looking at the remake, looks incredible.
Oh, it does. To be honest, it looks a lot more terrifying than I expected to.
Yeah.
And that because it's in third person. I love scary games in third person. First person, Resident Evil 7, God, too much for me. I finished it only because I was streaming it, and I was scared all the time. So I'm glad it looks like it's got that amount of atmosphere, but in third person, so I can pull myself out of the game a little bit and
You
actually
can
enjoy
manage
it.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I can manage it. So
I can relate to that. I'm one of the few people that loved Doom 3 despite its terrible reputation, and it gave me I'm a sleepwalker when I'm anxious about something, and the whole time I played that game I had like waking nightmares. I'd jump up out of my bed in the middle of the night.
Oh,
It was
God.
pretty scary. I jump up, pull the covers off the bed. My wife's like, "What? What happened? Was somebody breaking into the house?" Like, no, I just thought there was a demon in our closet. Sorry.
God, you are loyal to Doom. My God, well done.
I still like that game, but anyway, Cherry, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, so many ways. You can usually catch me on weekdays. I am over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CherryCakeTV. And if you want to contact me about anything, I am also on Twitter. That is at CherryCake518. What about you, Crunk?
I am on Twitch under the name Crunky with 2 N's, and I'm on Twitter at Crunky_Twitch. Thanks, Deadhead, for being here and talking us through Fallout 76 and giving us your feedback, man. I really appreciate it. We've been wanting to get you on here for a long time.
I've been wanting to get on for a long time. It was an absolute pleasure, guys.
Well, we're going to have you back soon if you'd like.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, guys, thanks. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.